I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed devil. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Well, maybe you are wondering why the Sheikh is laughing. Why? Question 10. Honestly makes me laugh. Let's see question number 10. Should all men have a beard? Should all men have a beard? Well, we in Islam have Islamic rules on how to live, how to dress, how to marry, and how to groom the beard is also included in the Islamic rules. The Islamic rule is that shaving the entire beard is prohibited. Islamic rules state that a Muslim man must wear a beard even if it is very little, but some part of the beard must be visible. It is also generally discouraged to have a mustache so long that it goes over the lips. It means that mustaches should be trimmed such a way that they do not enter the mouth, they do not go over the lips. So, Muslims always have their mustaches well trimmed and they wear the beard. To what extent is it advisable to wear a beard? A person may let their beard grow down to the navel. No, that is not acceptable. Up to 2 handfuls is advisable for wearing a beard. Oh, only up to 1 handful. It means that if you grab the beard, it should not reach beyond the last finger. 4 fingers is advisable for wearing a beard. One could say about 8 to 10 centimeters. There are narrations say having more beard than a handful is a sign of foolishness. There is also a joke about a person measuring their beard and suddenly saw that over there, look, it's growing. Or, I was reading a book and came across this narration. Having a beard longer than a handful is a sign of foolishness. So in ancient times, he was reading that book at night by the light of a candle. So when he got to this and saw, he measured his beard and saw that there was more beard. He then said, how am I going to cut it? Because it is a sign of foolishness. And tomorrow I am going to teach my students and they will look and say, look, the teacher has a longer beard, he is crazy, he is stupid. So, grabbing the beard, he brought it close to the candle and the candle started to burn the beard. Suddenly it reached his hand and he let go of his hand and burned whole beard until he could put it out. Under this book, he put a comment that is true. So it is not advisable to have a beard more than a dagger. For example, you want to know the maximum of the beard? It is, for example, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei. He has a beard and the style of clothing is 100% Islamic. So they ask a question, why do men have beards? Some Islamic narrations explain that the beard is called mahausin. The beauty of a man, like the beauty of a woman, lies in tenderness. The beauty of a man lies in being a strong man. So, man with a beard looks more respected. Even today, it is fashionable to have a beard. Because a man with a beard looks more, we can say, this character. Even many women say he looks friendlier with a beard. And when a man shaves his beard, his face will be the same as or very similar to a woman's face, without that woman's tenderness. So he looks ugly. And there are narrations that say when the Prophet Adam returned to earth, he was expelled for sin and came from Eden. He was expelled from Eden and came to earth. He did not have a beard. He repented for the disobedience he had committed and began to cry and cry. He cried for 40 days asking God for forgiveness. In the end, God forgave him. As a sign of God's forgiveness, He gave him a special blessing, which was a beard, to differentiate him from women. It is not that women have a disadvantage, no. God has placed a special tenderness in their bodies that gives beauty to women. God has indeed also given man a character of being a man, which is shown by the beard. The truth is, many times it has happened to me, seeing a person and from their physical appearance, It is difficult to discern whether they are a man or a woman. And unfortunately, nowadays, this topic of transsexuals is also in fashion, even worse. And when you see the person, you say it's a woman, and then a man or a boy comes out. These are things, the truth of the end times. In some narratives, it says one of the characteristics of the end times is that men dress like women and women dress like men. Nowadays, you see that many women dress like men in the same clothes as men. And men sometimes, unfortunately, dress like women. And that is even worse. And when a man shaves, he appears with the physical appearance of a woman. So, in Islam, that is prohibited. Man dressing like a woman is prohibited. And a woman dressing like a man is also prohibited. One of the things is wearing makeup. A man cannot wear makeup like a woman. That is prohibited because it resembles feminine characteristics. It is also prohibited for a woman to remove the veil because it resembles masculine characteristics, or to dress in special men's clothing. To conclude the topic, problem today is that men are not playing the role of men and women are not playing the role of women. The main character that God has given to man must be masculine, must be strong, must be pillar of the house, meaning where the whole family can rely on this man. The man must have the responsibility and obligation to support that family financially. The woman is the emotional pillar, faith, affection, care, love, home. So the strong intellectual economic pillar must be the man. The emotional, affectionate pillar that brings beauty and love to that life must be the woman. Fortunately, in the West, these roles have changed. Sometimes the woman takes on the role of the man, and sometimes she is imposed to support her children financially. The woman must go out into society doing strong things outside. The tenderness of a woman. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, the woman is like a little flower. That little flower must be preserved. That little flower must be respected. It should not be treated harshly. There are many jobs in society that are very hard, like construction worker. Unfortunately, in the West, under the name of gender equality, they are imposing hard, difficult jobs on women that are not in line with the beautiful, tender nature of women. That is what Ali taught us. We must treat women as a flower, with that respect, with that love, with that affection. If a woman goes out into society and is interested in starting a business, she is welcome to do so, but she does not have an economic obligation. If a woman is at her father's house, it is her father's obligation to support her financially, even if she has her own business, but she should not. The woman should not bear the economic obligation. She has the economic right, but she does not have the economic obligation. When she gets married and has children, the man has the responsibility to cover all expenses and the maintenance of the children. And in fact, unfortunately, there are very irresponsible men who take advantage of a woman, leave a girl pregnant, and the poor thing ends up becoming a single mother, bearing the emotional and affective burden of the family, and she also has to go to work. It is an oppression that God does not forgive. The West must repent for neglecting women's rights. Women today are indeed the most oppressed in the West, and the West must return to God's standards. It is a shame to see teenage girls pregnant without knowing who the father of their children is, and all of this is a consequence of abandoning God's standards. If God has established that premarital relations are forbidden, if God has taught us that fornication is prohibited, if God has taught that women should keep their chastity, if God has taught that men should guard their eyes and not be lewd, that is for our own benefit. When we abandon God's standards, consequences and curses will fall upon us. What people are suffering today in the West, let us think more and return to God's commandments. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.